Are you a war criminal?
I'm afraid I have to say I am, in that I was complicit in atrocities during World War II. I was a spotter, and what we did when we came across a fishing boat, we identified it as a craft, small craft, and just blew it out of the water, not taking any of the men off it. I can remember one day our anti-aircraft hit a Betty, which was a Japanese bomber, and usually the Japanese went down with their planes, but this occasion, and I was on a long glass, as we call it, a telescope on a stand, focused right on the plane, saw the smoke come out, and then I saw, to my amazement, 2 parachutes come out of the plane. That was most unusual. And when your plane's been hit and you come out with a parachute, you're putting your hands up and say, "I surrender." Unfortunately, what happened is that every anti-aircraft gun in the task unit that I was with opened fire on those 2 surrendering Japanese, and my glass was on one of them, and he just disappeared. Even after the parachutes hit the water, those gunners were so out of control that they just continued to pump shells into the floating parachutes on top of the water. These rifles were piled up on the dock at Yokohama when I went ashore on September the 2nd, 1945. And this is a Japanese sniper rifle, model, as I understand it, on the German World War I Mauser. It's a 12-pound rifle with a tremendous kick. Throw your shoulder out of joint, and you put a clip in it right here. I have to watch your finger. Clip probably of 5 bullets, and when you reload this, as you can see, is anything but an automatic weapon. And against automatic weapons, this thing would be absolutely useless. There's a pretty primitive sighting device on there too. On this strap are marks that the Japanese soldier who made use of it, God knows where, put probably for hits, the only thing I can think of. And I don't know whether the bayonet was ever used or not. It's a pretty fearsome looking bayonet. And the writing in here is on Japanese, even though it's a copy of a German rifle. I have no ammunition for it, of course, and would never shoot it if I could. I'd never shoot anything. But when I went into Yokohama, I was absolutely astonished that there wasn't any city there. It was leveled, absolutely leveled. As I scramble up the remains of a series of docks, I come on stacks of rifles, evidence of total capitulation. Ahead of me, there is no city, only devastation and debris. The charred earth is pocked with craters in every direction. As I move away from the waterfront, I see that pieces of tin, wood, and cardboard cover the larger craters. Without the least idea of where I'm heading, I break off from a couple of shipmates and keep walking beyond what I conjecture is the ruin of the center of the city. I'm surprised that I'm only shocked, not afraid. The few Japanese who appear veer off when they see me. It's silent as death. As I go on, the size and material of the debris lead me to believe I'm now passing through a residential section. Suddenly, close to my feet, a piece of tin slides. The skull of a skeleton rises from a crater. Brown wrapping paper covers the face of the skull. Rags hang on the bones. I guess the ears on the skull have heard my footsteps in the silence of the upper world. Is this assemblage of bones living in that pit alone, I wonder? Might it be the head of a family of skeletons? Down there at this very instant, might whatever of strength and breath is left be forsaking another such creature? Might it even be that the one I'm face to face with is inhabiting this grave home with what already has become its own remains? Hot as the cloudless morning is, I shiver. The creature confronting me casts the foreshortened shadow of a stick man. All at once I become aware its bony hand is extending a figurine to me, insistently. Hesitating, I make myself accept it, taking care not to touch the proffering claw. While I stand holding the figure, two petrified fingers form a V. It can't be Churchill's celebrated sign for victory, that's certain. The fingers touch, then move away from bloodless lips. Spreading its 5 fingers wide, the skeleton raises its other claw, like a policeman stopping traffic. The porcelain figurine feels cold. I stare at it. A statue of a woman a few inches taller than my hand is long. She's wrapped in a midnight blue robe with a hood that cowls her head except for a thick of black hair curled on her brow. Gill-edged and flowing in folds, the robe is brocaded with floral figures, red, orange, yellow, green, brown, all fringed with gold. Lustrous skin is exposed on her toes, peeping beneath the hem of the robe on her wrists, around the left of which is a gold bracelet, on her hands and fingers, the right clasping a gold scroll, the left lying across her right palm, on her breast, upon which inside a deep décolletage hangs a gold necklace, and on her throat and face. Wing-shaped eyebrows and bird-like pupils are coal black. Consonant with the repose of the woman's hands is the other-world serenity in her face. I'm astonished that a piece of porcelain should survive intact the bombing that has utterly destroyed a city. And I'm stunned that it's been thrust into my hands by hands emerging from a crater, dug by a bomb, dropped from a plane. I may have tallied as it lifted off from, and if lucky, destruction accomplished, landed back on the flight deck of one of the carriers my ship was protecting. After gazing with rapt attention, and I hope evident admiration, I shift my eyes to the eyes in the pits of the skull. They seem no more alive than the eyes of the porcelain woman. Uncertain what this skeleton, who's doubtless exhibiting perhaps the only valuable he still possesses, is asking of me, I smile with all the goodwill I can project without words, then extend the figure back to its owner. Instead of accepting it, he points his forefinger at his mouth, and after returning the V'd fingers to his lips, draws hard on an imagined cigarette, blows imagined smoke from puckered lips. Again he holds up the 5 fingers of his other hand. Now I get you, I mutter to myself, nodding to acknowledge I've caught on, and at the same time shooting up 3 fingers of my left hand. Still the skeleton holds up 5 fingers. Tucking my thumb against my palm, I counter by showing him 4 fingers. Hoge, comes from the grey lips in a high-pitched voice, more a retch than a moan. I'm surprised this foreign apparition, my vanquished enemy, knows what those 2 syllables of English mean, can roughly approximate their sound, and has already learned the protocols of trafficking with conquerors. The realization that what might be a precious heirloom is being bartered for cigarettes suddenly hits me. Bending over, I work 3 packs of lucky strikes out of the inside of my left sock, 1 from inside my right. Hands that form a stone-like begging bowl receive 80 lucky strikes in exchange for the figurine. Seconds after the bony torso and skull have descended into their underworld home, the tin scrapes its way across the open top of the crater. As I wander on through the wasteland, feeling less guilt than I know I ought, I can't prevent myself from wondering about the value of my plunder in US dollars.